Hi friends, I'm Colonel Failure and this is the Colonel Reduced for wherever we are. October. Why not? October 2019. Right then, October is upon us, and as such, there are probably changes coming soon. I would have thought. My channel's in flux, friends. For those of you watching this in somewhat real time, as in, more or less when I posted it, it's been 2 weeks since I put out a Kerbal Space Program. Well, there's the first time around. Legitimately, I didn't get around to recording it. There just wasn't time. Second time around, it fell through the cracks. I'll be honest, it fell through the cracks because I wasn't feeling it. For whatever reason, it didn't occur. And the reason primarily is I think I've done like 4 or 5 episodes now where I'm no further forward than where I was previously, which means basically that, I've got to stop clowning around and learn how to play it properly. Well, that kind of goes against the whole ethos of what I'm doing. There is no fault in the game at all. There is the game is not at fault here, people. It's your friendly neighbourhood lovable clown that is the issue at hand, and therefore I'd have to go off and study to play some more. I don't want to. I'm not feeling it. I'm genuinely not feeling it, which is weird because I've really enjoyed everything that I've been doing with it so far, but I'm stuck to the extent that I'd need to get some external help to make that happen. Don't bother putting comments in to, try and fix me way through it. Firstly, in a textual fashion, I'd have to ingest it multiple times. And plus, if I am actually learning how to do something, the way that I'll do it is, in a game sense that is that I will not record it while learning how to do it, and then I'll do it 3 or 4 times until I've got it perfected, and then I'll go off and do it for reals. But where's the fun in doing it for reals? What we want is expensive explosions and so forth. And it feels to me like I've probably got 20 plus hours of successful missions before it kind of picks up the pace again, and that doesn't feel like the right way to invest what precious little time I actually get to do stuff. I mean, here we are on the 14th of October. I try and get these out for the first 5 days of the month, and it's late. I mean, I was on holiday for a week, but even so, standards are slipping and it's not flipping good enough. So apologies for all of that, first and foremost. So on the subject of Kerbal, or more specifically on the subject of the exclusive series, votes are open now. I will allow until, let's say, Thursday. It is currently Monday. You will have this today. You have till Thursday to give your suggestions, and then I will run a lightning quick poll as to what the exclusive series should be. I'll record it and we'll get the first episode out this Sunday. Now, to make up for the couple of bits you're missing, I'm going to record some extra stuff for all of you this week. I've got a test that I want to do on City Skylines, which should prove out why I'm slow to get started on it, because I'm not playing it in the way that I usually play stuff. I've got something very specific in mind, and that's going to need a bit of work. But hopefully I'll be able to put up a quick test and then maybe a bit of a description of what I'm up to with that. I was going to put that out just for Officers Club, but I'll stick it out for everybody because I owe you a video, or I owe you 2 videos. And I know that you're not beating down my door going, well, no videos. Well, what's... I realise that's not what you're about, but even so, I feel, I legitimately feel kind of obliged to kind of sort that out. So I will sort that out this week, and the sooner the better. So let's talk about the stuff that is running. I've literally just finished recording Transport Fever. Is it Peninsula? No, it's not Peninsula, because Peninsula's flipping broken again. And that's it. I'm not going to try it again until Transport Fever 2, where we'll see what sort of mischief we can get up to with that. If I can get it to work. I can't remember where I put the original height map. It'll be around somewhere, otherwise I'll just have to repurpose the Transport Fever 1 height map, and I'm not even entirely sure that works. So we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, on the 16th of this month, we'll find out about who does get in and doesn't get into the TPF2 beta. I'm fairly certain I'll get in. I was in the first one. I've applied to the second one. I've got Tom's direct contact details. I'm pretty sure I can go, Tom, put me in the beta. And then, obviously, I'll be covering that from the very second it gets started. Now, last time around they gave, I think, 3 weeks of beta time, maybe 3-4 weeks, and then you had a week head start before it released where you could put up beta footage. That was a lightning rod for the growth of my channel. It was absolutely phenomenal. This time around, it won't be a lightning rod for growth on my channel. It might do a bit, given that basically if you search for Transport Fever, I kind of own that town a little bit, alongside Skystorm. He's the other one who's kind of highfalutin in there. You've got a bunch of other people who register, and you can put money on the fact that they're going to be out the gate like a whippet. So I'm going to have to up my game, and that's okay. I already know how I'm going to up my game, and I'm going to leave people going like, "Oh no, I wish I'd thought of that." And I go, "Yeah, I know, but that's why I'm doing this stuff. Is because it's about the creativity of the thing. That's what's important." Anyway, Transport Fever 2 will be along in approximately 3 to 4 weeks. I have no information one way or the other, but we're inside a month and a half now before it releases. So that leaves me a hole in my schedule that has a big Transport Fever sign over the top of it. Now, I've got a couple of fix-its to get through. One's coming out today, and well, will be out by the time you see this. We'll have one of them out, and I'll push the other one to the end of the next week, end of the week. But then I'm going to do, let's see how many achievements I can get, because with achievements you're playing on vanilla. Aha! So I'll see how many achievements I can land before the new game comes around, because I've got Steam open here somewhere. Where are you? Come here. You library. How many have I got? I've got 30 out of 53 achievements. I care not for achievements. You possibly knew that already. But let's have a look at some that we're missing here. Build a bus stop. I've done that. No, oh, these are the ones you have done. All right, what haven't we done? Accumulate a fortune of 100 million without debt in hard mode. Okay. Accumulate a fortune of 1 billion in hard mode. Okay. Don't go bankrupt and reach the year 2000 in hard mode. I think if you're going to hit the 100 million mark, the year 2000 is doable. Reach at least 80% passenger line usage in a town. Glacier Express, have a train line that rises higher than 450 metres. Well, I've done that dozens of times, but with mods turned on, I've never actually got that one, so okay. What else? Serve all industries. Oh, yeah. Earn 50 million not using any train. We can do all of that. Keep a train built before 1900 running until the year 2000. Just got to remember to do that. Reach the year 2000 using only trains. Well, those two are mutually exclusive then, aren't they? Okay, that's two separate games we've got to try. Museum line. Build one line containing at least one of every road vehicle that was available between 1850 and 2020. All right, okay. Don't take any additional loan until the year 2000. That's doable. Don't take a load. Same again in hard mode. Reach a top speed of 300 kilometers an hour. Okay, so if I get a line that goes up 450 meters in the corner of the map, and then I run it to the other corner of the map going straight downhill, that's got a chance. Industry provider, 60% coverage for every industry good in a town. Crikey. Same for commercials. Complete the first tutorial. Okay, I've got to do some tutorials. Complete the America, the Europe campaign. Complete all the campaigns. Earn all the tutorial medals. Oh, no. Okay, this is less fun than I thought it was going to be. All right, well, we'll see what happens. I'll do some of them, I reckon. But yeah, that should fill in the gap between now and the new game. So that's something. But yes, I'm going to open the poll on Thursday. So I'm open to suggestions on Thursday about what games would you like to see as an exclusive. And I think the winner's going to be RimWorld. Just that's my hunch right now. As I suspect that'll be the winner, but we'll see. And then we'll run a quick poll and see where we get to. So I'll pick like the 3 to 5 that I could bear to play, that seem to have got a few people interested in it, and I'll bang that out, and we'll up and running on Saturday, Sunday. Okay, yeah, all right, everybody on board? No, I'm not going to do another season of motorsport. Not yet. No, I'm not ready for it yet. I've got a little way to go before I've got my motorsport batteries recharged. So, what else do we want to talk about today? Well, there's quite a lot happening. The main thing that's happening on my channel at the moment is that my progress has ground to a halt. It's come screaming to a halt. That's the phone. I'll be back in a minute. Right, what was I talking about? I don't know, about half an hour has passed, so I've completely lost the thread of whatever it was I was on about. I suspect, however, that it's this bit. So let's pick up. Let's just wiggle my lozenge here and make sure that's looking handsome. So, yeah, my channel stalled big time. Historically, this year I've been used to 150 to 250 new subscribers a week, which is pretty pacey stuff. Keeps you rolling quite nicely. And at the moment, we're down to 70 to 80 a week, and it doesn't show any signs. I'm in decline, basically, and that's. It's a little bit worrying. I kind of know why it's happening, but it's a bit of a concern. And then my views are off as well. Now, typically in a given week, anywhere between kind of 40 and 60% of the views that my whole channel gets will come from the stuff that I've just posted that week. Another 10 to 20% will then come from stuff I posted in the previous week. And for almost the whole of this year, in fact, up to a couple of weeks ago, I was quite merrily doing in the region of 100,000 views a week. For a long time, I've been exceeding that by a long way. Now, my goal for the year was to be hitting 10,000 views a day on average over the course of a week. So that's 70,000 views a week. And I've just dipped below that. And that's very disappointing because that's the first time I've done that this year. Nuts. Oh well, never mind. It can't be helped. Well, it can be helped and it can't be helped. What's holding it back? Well, Founder's Fortune, I'm not going to lie to you, is well below Wood Chipper at this point. But I'm really enjoying it. It's a really enjoyable game. And therefore, I think that rather like Banished, which at the time was not doing stellar views, it was doing good enough. It was certainly Wood Chipper proof at the time. But it never did absolutely stellar views. But retrospectively, it's turned into a series that people like to go back and watch. And I think Founder's Fortune has that kind of style, that kind of tone about it as well. So I'd quite like to get it a few more episodes deep. In fact, as mentioned in a post a couple of weeks ago, I haven't had a good B series since the Soviet Workers, the Soviet Republic. That was the last proper B series that I ran. I had a few B series that lasted for maybe a week and a half. If you think about Factory Town, if you think about Railroad Corporation, which I'll tell you, it was a game I just did not enjoy. No, I mean, it's fine, but I've got so heavily into Transport Fever's freedom of creation that these heavily structured train games now, they do nothing for me. They just kind of leave me cold. That's me. That's a me problem, that one. That rather than the game being at fault, that's down to me. But it still stands that I haven't had a strong second series for a while now. Let's say 6 months plus. Because before Soviet Republic, there was Project Hospital, which did well. Foundation did pretty well as well in the mix there. And going back, there's always been an undercurrent of a strong B series that has kept the numbers buoyant, and has also has also provided good bait, as it were, for people who hadn't encountered my channel before. The easy thing to assume is that everybody found me via Transport Fever. It's just not true. as many people found me from other games as they did from Transport Fever. If you were to put all my subscribers in one big long list, you would find that Transport Fever accounted for 50% of them. And everything else that I've ever done accounted for the other 50%. Some more, some less. I know that Project Hospital accounted for a ton of people. And that's fine, and that's good, and that's great, and that's what I want to be doing, and that's what I should be doing. If I'd have got Skylines over the line by now, that would have started contributing again. But it just... it's so complicated what I'm trying to do, and I'm not taking baby steps with it. I'm trying to do the whole thing in one go, and that's not going to work. I have to do something small first. So I'll get an experiment out this week. I mentioned this already, but I'll get an experiment out this week so you can get a feel for, oh, I see. Also, that's cool. That's what I'm aiming for. That's cool is what I'm aiming for. The half, if not the entire point of this Return to City Skylines is to attract the modern Skylines audience who are not there for a Let's Play, even one that is as linguistically flamboyant as I tend to be and haphazard as I tend to be, where there is a gentle humour that kind of underlines the whole shebang. That's not what your modern City Skylines viewer wants to see. So I've got something that competes strongly in that area. I've just got to do it. I mean, I could talk about it for hours. And I can talk about it vaguely without even talking about what it is for hours, but it doesn't accomplish anything. So what else is kind of lined up? Herself and Plastic Swans, amongst others, have suggested that I really should go and do Planet Zoo, because my take on it will be somewhat different to everyone else's out there. And I've already got a really, really good concept that definitely no one else will do. Yeah, absolutely. It's a very solid concept, and therefore it should get plenty of mirth. But I don't play well in that viewing audience. My Planet Coaster videos, I was really pleased with quite a lot of those. I thought that some of those were genuinely very funny, but I never got viewers from it. There's a mindset that doesn't really translate across, and I think where I've always done quite well with Transport Fever, or rather why I resonate well with a Transport Fever viewing audience, is because I do have an underpinning of expertise. I'm not willfully getting things wrong. I get things wrong purely because of the pace that I'm moving at. But I do know what I'm doing. I just don't do it right. And that's where it comes from, is that you can't fake either expertise or errors in judgment. You can't fake those two things. They either happen organically or they don't, and I happen to have both in spades in an organic basis. And I love it when a mistake occurs, because I can, I'll talk around it and I do me, right? And that's all we're after, is doing me. So, looking for a B series. That's the other thing. So we've got you can chip in on this as well. The only real rules, as far as a B series are concerned, is it has to have viewers. I'm not yet. Founder's Fortune is a luxury item for me to be covering. As much as I may, claim that, oh no, it's going to be one of those series that people watch for ages and ages and ages. That's rubbish. This is a luxury item. Actually, that's the wrong way to describe it. It's an indulgence, and it's an indulgence because I enjoy playing it. Rather than it being an active driver of new subscribers and more traffic to my channel, it's just something that I'm playing because I enjoy it. Now that is the goal, right? That's not what's going to get me to the goal. What's going to get me to the goal is an active pursuit of viewers. Now, this doesn't mean lowbrowing it or changing up the way that I do things, because that's all important. Is I can't disenfranchise the people who watch now, because that's a setback. That is. No, I can't make people switch off. But what I should be doing is trying to pivot towards things that people will actively watch. So I will be bringing back Soviet Republic. Have pity on me, because it's a really good game. And it is so closely aligned to Transport Fever that there's no chance that it isn't going to work. The view numbers it was doing for a while there, it was rivaling Transport Fever for views every time I put out a new video. That's not something that happens easily or readily. Equally, City Skylines is another one that will resonate with my existing viewers. Train Sim World also resonates with existing viewers. What I need is something that is a little lighter and fluffier, or a little that is character driven. I need a character driven something to sit alongside the endless network building stuff that I do, because the character driven stuff, it's still the same sense of humor, but it is slightly differently positioned. And that always plays well. Look at Project Hospital, right? I played really well. And it was a good, strong, unique approach to kind of presenting that game that I managed to do. Got a little bit repetitious there. Repetitious? Oh, nice. I would have said repetitive is probably the better word. But yeah, got a bit repetitive from time to time. But fundamentally, there was a decent chunk in there that you could take away from it. So there you go. So that's the channel. Channel is at the moment, but I've had a whole slew of new people sign up and back my channel, and that is absolutely wonderful. I would not be able to even remotely go like, oh yeah, I'm going to take this full time, if it weren't for the backers that I've got at the moment. You are covering just over a third of what I need covering between you collectively. And when I stick AdSense on top of that, which is flipping negligible by comparison, that's covering another chunkette in there. Merchandise has done quite nicely for the last couple of months, and I've just shot it all down because I've got a brand new store coming up as soon as they built it. I know, I'm hands off. I don't even design the stuff this time round. What I get to do is go, yes, or no. And they do all of the heavy lifting. Now, they take a slightly larger chunk than other stores that I've done in the past. But I tell you what, having someone actually do the work, that means it might actually happen. And that's unusual in and of itself. So that's all good too. Yeah, and as soon as that comes out, I'll also be able to do discount codes for backers and that kind of thing. So stay tuned for that. My aim, they've got a wacky idea, and I have to do a supporting video to go with the wacky idea. But it's a Christmas present for people who like trains. All right, okay. So if you're heading towards the holiday gift season, there will be a Colonel Failure themed holiday gift par excellence for someone who likes a bit of train action. And there should be a video going with it that should be, if I'm funny enough, it'll be great. If I'm not funny enough, it'll be painful. If I'm business as usual, it'll be a combination of the two. Hey. Right, now then. So, yeah, getting back to the indulgence that is Founder's Fortune. The goal is to be able to reach the point where I can play indulgences. Now, if you think about the 60-40 split that I spoke of before, where 40% of my weekly views comes from the new stuff, 60% comes from stuff that I put out historically. Well, what I need a handful of really big hitting videos that lead into series in some fashion that will serve as a driver for the channel ad infinitum. This is what I've been rolling with for the last 5 years, is that once you get a video that brings people into the channel and they start watching back catalogue stuff, that keeps your view numbers on a weekly basis very buoyant indeed. And old videos serve ads just as readily as new videos do. So that's what will drive the income. So, well, let's put a number on it then. So what do I need and this is called, wait for it, business terminology, this is the long tail of running a video channel, is the stuff that you made 3 years ago can still be earning you a couple of pence a week. If you make a video that does 1 million views in a month, let's say, then that will continue to earn you double-digit dollars every week for years. So you don't need many of those before you've actually got something sustainable that's kind of going on out there. But I haven't got those kinds of big hitters. I just don't. No, my top scoring video has only done 160,000, and it's 3 years old now. So I've not hit that. I've not hit the money on that one yet, and that's a combination of things. It's firstly not chosen a game that gets that level of interest. Secondly, not executed it well enough that it gets shared out to all and sundry. And is there a thirdly? Bit of luck, maybe. Right place, right time kind of luck. So engineered luck rather than just the will of the gods. So yeah, I haven't struck gold yet. It will happen at some point. It's inevitable that I will have something that that catches light, and I'm trying to engineer it with City Skylines that I keep talking about and don't deliver. If I get it right. And that's the other thing that I want to be able to spend time on. So hitting that aspiration point where I'm generating enough from long tail views to support this as a full-time endeavor, with a dash of backer kind of goodwill thrown in there as well. Then I can work on indulgences, which is stuff that you guys say, like, I'd love to see you play that, because I bounce most suggestions now on, yeah, no one's going to watch it. When I get to the point where I don't care if anybody watches it or not, I think it'll be a good thing to view. Then we can indulgence all day long. It's like things that I'd really like to play more of. Car Mechanic Simulator. I did three Car Mechanic Sim videos, and you know what? They were all right. They were suitably well edited. I came up with a couple of running gags in there that were working quite nicely. Hadn't nailed the pace completely. Hadn't nailed the tone completely. Would have done. I'd have got there. But as such, it did nothing basically because it didn't get shared. And here's the thing about sharing videos: is you should never have to ask for it. If you've done it right, you don't need to ask, because every viewer everywhere, massive generalization, every viewer everywhere wants to discover the thing that they then go, hey, you've got to watch this, it's really good, or it's really funny, or it's amazing, or right? Everyone has got those couple of videos that they go like, you've got to see this guy, it's very, very, very good. I've not hit that, never hit it. I've never hit that quality level. I have moments, I have flashes where I've got it, I've nailed it, I've got it absolutely right. But they are too heavily padded out with me umming and ahhing and figuring things out, and me playing games the way that I play games. And that is not in itself strong enough to create that you must see this moment. And the secret ingredient is one word: editing. Editing. Now, you will notice if you take a critical eye to the stuff that I put out, that I don't edit much at all. Yeah, I've got my intro. That's an edit point. If it's not Transport Fever and I've got an emergency train interlude, there you go, that's an edit point. I've got the outro, that's an edit point. But more often than not, press play, go. 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, done. Just me rabbiting on for all that time. And because my brain splits into multiple different tasks while I'm doing that. One is actually trying to play the game. Okay, it's a very small part. It's actually trying to play the game. Second part, keep talking. Always keep talking. What are you going to talk about next? What's going on now? Make a note of that. Reference back to that in a minute. Third bit is going to go and keep a kind of active record of what you have spoken of in this episode that is fun. Because if you can do a callback to that later on, you might double the impact of it. That could work well. Next one, bring up your catchphrase dictionary. Make sure you're not using stuff too much, right? Because overuse of phrases. There was one or two that I used to use a lot in my kind of first year, second year of YouTubing. It's just about, I'd use it all the time, and I got called out for it in one video where apparently I'd used the same word. Likewise was the word. I used the same word about half a dozen times in the space of a minute. And I just kind of went, after listening back to it, I kind of go, yeah, I did. I've got to be careful with that, because if you overfavour language and you are as language driven as my stuff tends to be, then that's a tripwire waiting to happen. And as much as it might be hilarious watching people fall on their face, if you're only listening to them repeat the same words, it's not quite the same thing. So yeah, I split my attention. I don't even know how I got onto this. I split my attention in multiple ways, and then of course breaking the old fourth wall there of self-referential stuff, self-deprecation. All of that's all marvelous as well. It all pans out. Editing. That's where we got to. So yeah, I need to edit stuff down a little bit more. And actually, my verbal dexterity and padding ticks. All of that business makes it much tougher to edit, because I don't shut up. I don't give you a momentary pause to kind of go, and there's a cut point. Now, if you watch Flavour of the Month channel, he's very funny. He's very, very funny, but only in small doses. You don't want to watch more than 2 in a go, because you'll start to see the format, and that's Josh at Let's Game It Out. Very, very funny. He plays in a different way to me. He tries to break games by taking them to extreme levels. Now, the good news is that he's also verbally dexterous, and he's a smart guy, and his end results are superbly funny. Now, obviously, this is comedy, so your taste, my taste, are likely to differ, but he is a very, very funny guy. But you can't watch more than a couple at a time, because you start to see, you start to feel the pattern come out of it. I'm sure I have the same problem, but he edits to the nth degree. He puts out one video a week and it does 250,000 views. And I kind of go like, there's something in that, you know, if you were to spend all of your recording and editing time on one video each week, I reckon the videos might be better. Just a notion there, just a general kind of, he's nailed the formula there. So yeah, definitely more editing is the key here, and I need to, and there's multiple parts to that. It's not just a case of right, chop that bit out, chop that bit out. No, I have to change the way that I record my audio to go with the game that actually facilitates making editing better. Now, many of you will suddenly go, whoa there, whoa, stop it. I love those 20-minute periods where you're trying to figure out how to do something simple and you're gradually becoming more and more irate and tying yourself in knots. That's what makes you interesting and different, and that's why I'm watching this flipping thing. That's not going away. I'm not going to get rid of it, because I know that the format is the format and it works and people like it. But what I need is a secondary push that has that higher level of focus on delivering small packages of finely distilled excellence in, I don't know, whatever it is. Better videos. There you go. If you look for my 5-minute masterclass, I made 2 of them. 5-minute masterclass. I did 2 tutorials for Transport Fever that I did. I mean, it's using my tutorial voice. And you can tell I'm using my tutorial voice because I don't and anywhere near as much, because I will take multiple takes to get the audio right. Because the goal there is to educate, it's not to entertain as much. I certainly try to keep them entertaining, but the 5-minute masterclass was a test idea for a more heavily edited kind of approach to tutorials than I'd done historically, and I think it works quite well. I think it loses some of the unique approach that I've got, but I still get my dulcet tones out there, and it's compact and it's all detail, and that plays well as well. Anyway, Transport Fever 2. may prove to be the turning point that re-energizes the channel, that gets me something that has been viewed 1,000,000 times and another 4 just like it, and then I can go, I can now be as self-indulgent as I please and play whatever I like. Who knows? I know it's not going to happen. There are too many other people who are going to try and steal my thunder from that. And therefore, I have to treat the launch of Transport Fever 2 as a defensive action and not as an offensive one, which is what I did last time around. My goal last time around was to blow everybody else out of the water. And I got lucky enough and I managed to pull that off. It was largely a timing trick on my part. While everybody else was watching the launch stream, which was in German, I was doing another stream that was in English. And I managed to get more. I then stuck out a couple of tutorials that proved to be shared time and time again. I won't get that this time. Everybody else is going to try and do the same thing because this is the curse of YouTube. Every time someone does something smart, it will be emulated. Now, I'm not saying what I did was particularly smart, but it was effective. It is going to be emulated. Other people will, I was going to say, rip it off. They are. And frankly, I will rip stuff off from other people. So, it's not that I'm holier than thou. It's more that this time around, I'm the one that people are going to take stuff off. I'm not bothered. No, that's fine. That is the nature of the world. And frankly, were it not for having competition, then you get complacent and the quality goes down. And the quality is not that great to start with. Hey. Right, enough of this nail-biting introspective business. I should point out, I'm not actually that downbeat about it because there is an ebb and a flow to things, and I've done pretty well so far this year. I've already, like a month and a half, 2 months ago, I'd done more subscribers this year than at any year in the past. I'd done more views this year than any year in the past. That's great. I'm going great guns this year. What's not as great as I'd hoped for. My aspiration was really quite the 50k. That's a beefy aspiration. That's another 5.5 grand. Yeah, I'm opening the stat sheet. I am. You can see I always do this. I go like, no, we won't do anything with stats this time around. No, not that. No, we're going to do stats. Right, now, the reason it's important, I'm only looking at one stat. I'm not going to bore you with too many numbers, despite the fact that I'm boring you with absolutely everything I'm talking about today. Right. Here are the number of subscribers gained per year. 2014, 57 subscribers. Beefcake start there. 2015, 914. This is not the total. This is the number of new ones, right? 914 gained in the second year. So close to the 1,000, but not 1,000. Third year in operation, 2016, 11,400. Thank you, Transport Fever. You're my honey. 2017, 9,600. And you kind of go, oh, that's a couple of K drop. I kind of go, yeah, but 6,000 of that 11K in the previous year happened in 1 month. All right, so, he's back. Last year, 2018, 9,900. So close to the 10K mark. But even so, we did all right. This year, so far, 12,400. I should not be downhearted about this. And I'm not. The only thing that I'm downhearted about is the fact that my graph for the year is like up this and then it's down. It's now doing that. And you kind of go, no, you're going the wrong way. So I've got to turn it around, people, and I've got to do good stuff. Stuff that is good. This is not something I would normally do because usually I keep this. I'm a little bit cagey. I need a big hitter that isn't transport related, right? But is related enough that, let's say, here's my transport crowd, that there is a Venn diagram overlap to here, right? But the scale of audience out the other side of that is all the way over there somewhere, right? Basically, I need to be covering a bigger game, and I need to be eroding the channels, or I need to be infringing on the other channels and stealing their audience. And you're going to go, well, steady on there, Tiger. That's a little bit aggressive. Kind of go, well, no, it's the only way to think about it. There is nobody who is currently a YouTube viewer who is going, oh, if only there was something to watch. There is a surplus of videos, right? There is a ton of things that you can go and watch and amuse yourself with on the tube. And therefore, the only way you're going to gain views as a channel is by taking them off someone else. Now, I have found a category of games that is absolutely ripe for someone to come in and be the greatest saving grace ever in the history of the world, and that's 4X's. So everything from Stellaris to Civilization to Crusader Kings, Hearts of Iron, all of the Paradox stuff, all of that kind of stuff. 4X's. There is not a 4X channel out there that makes them fun to watch. They deliver expertise left, right and centre. Total expertise going on. But there is nobody who has actually made them fun to watch. And I've got an idea that might work, but that is a huge potential viewing audience. And the way to evaluate a viewing audience, or a potential viewing audience, there's two separate things. Potential viewing audience is you go and find the top 100 Steam games. You can do this sticking into Google. There's a chart. It's on, is it Steam Charts or something like that? That shows the top 100 games by number of active players in the last week. And what that means is they are people who will potentially watch a video on the subject. Transport Fever was in there for a little while in the kind of, I think the highest it got after kind of the launch fortnight was down in the 50, 60 somewhere. These days it's not in the top 100, and yet I'm still getting 10,000 views per video after a couple of weeks, right? Right, so there is a viewing audience for it, and that viewing audience is always going to be smaller than the playing audience. Typically, for every player that you've got, one person is a video viewer. Not my videos, any videos, right? 90% of people don't care unless they're stuck and looking for stuff. Therefore, the more people who play a game, the more potential viewers that you can get out of the other end of it, right? So if you may be the only person in the world covering the hot new indie Garbage Man Simulator, and both the people who are playing it will watch, I'm sure, but that's still only 2 views right there. So yes, I get some people now who watch me do any old rubbish because they like watching me do any old rubbish. And I suspect several of you fall into that category. Good. You're my favourite kind of viewers. Is like, what are you doing today, Colonel? This is Toast Simulator. Watch me put the bread in the toaster. In fact, I'm not entirely sure that isn't a game already. But I get some people that watch any old nonsense. Now, if I just had 10 times that number, we'd be laughing. Well, we haven't, so we're not laughing. Instead, we're aggressively in pursuit of things. So yeah, 4X's, however, you look at the list. Stellaris, Hearts of Iron, and Civilization have perennial high view numbers, high player numbers. Don't look at the concurrence. So the numbers that are shown on Steam charts are the number of active concurrent players, which means the number of people playing at exactly the same time. And it will say like the 1 day peak is 4,000. That's huge because that means the number of active players over the course of a week is many times that number. The number that you see as the current, you'll see it on Steam regularly. People kind of going, oh, there's only 112 people playing this game. It's dead. It's a dead game. Kind of go, no, that's 100 people playing it right now, this second. Now, that's not a big game. But what it isn't is there are only 112 players. No, from that, there will be anywhere between kind of 4,000 to 10,000 players. But there's only active players, that is. So people who do still turn it on and play it once in a while. 4X's are huge, and they retain players like nothing else. It's just about making an entertaining video. I've got an idea. I've always got an idea, just got to execute it. But that is an absolute stack of editing. Oh, boy. But that would be the thing that made that would be the teamwork that made the dream work right there. If I had nailed that, that would do it. Equally, Skylines. If I nail that, job done. Yeah, it would be job done. Right, good. I've pontificated enough. Now, this has been a somewhat single topic video, this one, so let's talk about something else just to round things out. We've got one spare team in sports ball, pretty good team, and I just like that far below being a contender. If you like Football Manager, give me a comment. And we'll get you in now because we're in pre-season, so it's a perfect time to join the game. Can't recommend it enough. If you want to get to know other people in bad company, it's a fantastic way to do so because we all chat amongst ourselves constantly about the game and that kind of thing. Your second option to get involved at the moment is Atlas. We have closed the bad company servers because time, space, money. The Atlas servers were costing a fortune. But there is still a hardcore active group at the moment who are playing on the public servers and getting into mischief. Swing by Discord. We'll point in the right direction. In fact, multiplayer games of any flavour at all. You say in Discord, I want to play a multiplayer game of, and you will probably find a couple of people that fancy giving it a go. Possibly even me. I try to advertise the game that I'm going to be playing multiplayer next, so as many people as possible can jump in. We ought to do one. I'll do another one soon. A repeat of the copyright infringing Stellaris multiplayer would go down a storm. That was so funny. Just if you didn't see it, that was properly good fun. We won't let Jake be a robot this time. Just FYI, Jake always plays as a robot and then kills absolutely everybody because he's incredibly good at the game. What else? Oh, Minecraft! We've started Minecraft. Minecraft has begun. If you scroll to a post or two just below this one, you'll find all the details you need to get in. It's not completely simple to get in the front door, and what most people are finding is when they first finally get everything installed and they load the game up, it immediately boots them back to the menu. That's normal. Do it again immediately. You'll almost certainly get in. We are providing limited tech support. I've got a couple of good Minecraft nerds who are, I'm being very mean. Daz and Vargan are providing tech support when they are available. They are to be commended, and one should doff one's cap when in their present. Absolutely. They're doing a sterling job, and they are to be heartily high-fived at every chance you get. It's heavily modded. There's something for everybody. I'm going to be breeding bees at some point. But first I'm building something that is ruddy enormous and is going to take me hours upon hours to get complete. So I might do it in phases. Expect a video this week, probably, at some point. I ought to work out what videos I'm doing this week since Transport Fever's busted. Anyway, Minecraft, it's an awful lot of fun. And if you've got kids, bring them. Bring your kids. There are only a couple of rules. Just make sure your kids play by the rules. The rules, basically, don't wreck someone else's stuff. And that includes helping yourself to other people's stuff. And the other one is keep the language fairly clean, would you? In the chat. Discord, we allow a certain amount of your effing and your blinding. But, keep it to a modest level, if you don't mind. It's not a Puritan network of people, but constantly blowing the roof off with your use of Anglo-Saxon vernacular is not entirely within keeping of the things in keeping and so forth. All right, so keep a lid on it, but don't over-censor yourself in that regard. Obviously, all right. And if you step out of line, I'll let you know. And I'll let you know in a way that kind of says, don't do that again. And you'll be able to go, sorry. And I'll go, no, it's fine. As long as you take the feedback on board, it's all good. Good, right, there you go. So you can get involved in either of those. It's a lot of fun. Minecraft's fantastic. It's got so many mods in that I've never touched. The other day, happily beavering away in my little workshop. It's me beavering away in the workshop. And out of nowhere, Daz turns up through some kind of Stargate in the middle of my base. I go, all right, Daz, what do you want? He goes, I've got you this for you. And it gives me a stack of resources. I go, thank you very much. It then opens a Stargate and leaves. And I kind of go, what kind of flash wizardry is this? Well, I'm kind of going like, how do you make metal? I lie because I know exactly how to make metal. In fact, I made a couple of pieces of it. So yeah, if you fancy joining in, very, 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 very casual stuff. PvP is consent only, which means it will either be in a specialised area that I decree during certain times, but you're not allowed to just run around ganking other people. That's not fun. Might be fun for you, not fun for them. And that's my golden rule, is if you are doing something that makes it less fun for someone else, you're doing it wrong. Everything is geared towards make it as fun for as many people as possible at all times. And that's about the size of it. I've got nothing more for you this week, month. I'm late. I owe you exclusive videos. Keep your eyes peeled. Anyway, the voting is open now, or the nominations are open now for what you'd like the exclusive series to be, okay? So start bunging them in. Here's a couple for you to think of, to think on. These are my suggestions, right? Stuff I wouldn't mind playing. Actually, pretty much anything in my collection I wouldn't mind playing, and some things that aren't. Let's have a look here. I will always go for stuff that is fairly harmonious with what I already do. I had a couple thought up. Are they not even installed right now? No, they're not. Okay, all right. More scrolling is required. I had a couple in mind. Car Mechanic Sim. All right, I'll do that. Farm Simulator. Yeah, I'd play a bit of that. Astroneer. Yeah, could do that. I've got a big idea for automation, the car company tycoon game. I've got BeamNG as well, but I was going to make this public. I was going to do those as public videos. I just need to get around to doing it. Got an idea, see, of something that, when edited, might look really quite cool. What else have we got in there? Ding, ding, ding. Don't suggest XCOM. Don't do it. I played too much XCOM. I've finished War of the Chosen. I played that on my own time because no one was watching the video series. And it's great, but I'm not going to cover it. Anything else? No. I'm sure this is riveting to watch, isn't it? Me gradually kind of scowling at my long list of... I thought there was one more. Oh, RimWorld. There you go. That's my third suggestion. Oxygen Not Included. You can stick that in there as well. I'm not a fan of the art style. But I'll play it for you, friends. If you want me to play 2 Point Hospital, I'll go out and pick it up. But as mentioned, it won't be funny. Because the jokes all wear pretty bloody thin. Although maybe that is the joke. Who knows? Whichever Joker says open TDD, the door's that way. They are. Now that's it. That's enough. You can make suggestions all day long. Those are just my suggestions. You may have a better one that I hadn't thought of. I'm certainly not going, pick one of those, or I'm not playing any of them. I only suspect that RimWorld might be the one you go for, but it doesn't have to be. Tropico, I could play the heck out of Tropico. Stop it. Wrap the video up, get out of here, and get it edited. I'll see you next month, where we'll talk about a wider diversity of subjects, I'm sure, and you'll all be bubbling about how good the new series of Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator is. I've been Colonel Failure. Thank you very much for backing the channel. It really is very much appreciated. We're very close to the point where I can really start to get behind all of this stuff. Even stuff like Transport Fever that I do now, which is, more or less one take, with just a little bit more editing applied to that, it can really start to sing. Yeah, we'll see. I'll catch you next month. Cheerio.